Hello guys, my name is Khan, and actually in this video I will talk about nested loops. So actually this video is the continuation of the first video, which is also about loops. But in this video I will talk about nested loop. What does mean by nested loop? That if you are using loops within loops, that thing is usually known as nested loops. And actually in this video I will give you one hypothetical example, and then based on that example I will show you guys that how you can use nested loops to make your life easy. So actually this video will just gives you a kind of a hint that how you can use nested loop, and then you can devise your own way to use nested loops according to your own problem. So I will start with this triangle. As you can see on your screen, that the base of the triangle is A, the perpendicular of the triangle is B, and then we can calculate this hypotenuse of the triangle based on this formula. So suppose if you have different parameters of perpendicular, suppose 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the same way you have some base parameters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have just created base parameters and perpendicular parameters, and as you can see that you can create different permutations between base and perpendicular to have this hypotenuse. So actually I want to fill this whole table, which you can see, with the possible values of this hypotenuse. So I want to know that what will be the hypotenuse if the perpendicular is 2 and the base is 2, and then I will be saying what will be the hypotenuse if the perpendicular is 2 and the base is 3, and then so on. And then I want to fill this whole table with the possible values of parameters for different combination of base and perpendicular values. So for that I will be creating a nested loop. So now what I will do, I will take you guys towards Visual Basic. So in order to go, so you have to open your Visual Basic. You have to go to the Developer tab, and then you have to select Visual Basic. And within Visual Basic, you can see that there is a symbol which you have to click this down arrow button, and then you have to insert the module. So now we have opened the module, and now I will start making my own macros. So if you're writing your macro, the first thing is that you have to name that macro. So I will be saying sub, and then I'll be saying, you can name it anything you like, but I will be calling it nested loop, and then I will enter. So the Excel have created telling me that you are making this macro, which will start from here, from this subline, and ending at the end sub, and all the code will now appear within these two lines. So after that, what I will do, I define the scalars, or you can call them locals, which I will be using in these loops. So actually I will be, in order to create those locals or scalars, I will be saying dim, and after that I will name them. So the first thing I will be using a vector. So not a vector, as a scalar or a local that I will be using is, if I go back to my Excel, so the first thing that I will be using, that I will need some vectors. I need some scalar to which I will be assigning this perpendicular value one by one. So I will be calling it as P as integer. You can name it anything if you like, but for me the P will remind me that that I will assign perpendicular value into this P. So the P will be getting these values 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one by one, and then I will be creating one. So I will be pressing comma to assign to now generate a new scalar which I will be calling b as integer. So the b is actually the base. It will be capturing the base, so it will capturing the values in this cell one by one. So base will be 2 in the first time, 3 in the second time, and 4, and so on. And after that I will need scalar to capture these columns, because one by one I will come first to C column, then I will move to D column, and in the same way I will need some vector that allows me to move to other rows from row 4 to row 5 and row 6 and 7 onward. So for that I will be having one scalar as C, and it will again as integer, because I'm saying that these are integers, because as you can see, even the perpendicular and the base are taking integer values, and in the same way the column numbers and the row numbers are also taking integer values. So that's why I'm calling them integers. So the type of these scalars will be integers. In the same way, I will be creating one scalar for row, and I will be calling it R. So R will remind me that it is going to use when I will be defining rows, and I will be calling it again as an integer. And after that I will enter. Now I will initiate my first loop in this macro. So I will be using a for loop. After that, the first loop that I will be using will be on this row. Will be on this row vector. Sorry, not row vector, it's row scalar. So I'll be saying R equal to, and now you have to be a bit careful, because my rows are starting, my first row is starting from the 4th row, as you can see. So my R will be starting from 4, then 2, and then you have to see that where your rows are ending. My rows are ending in the 9th row, so that's why I will be writing 9 here, and then enter. And now I will be creating another loop for the columns, because what I want to do is that first go to C column, then the row will be 2, and then it will come to the C column, then it will come to the D column and E column, and onward. Once this row will be completed, it will come down to 3rd row. So in order to do that, I have to create another loop. So the other loop will be, again I will be using a for loop. Then I will be saying C. Now C will be actually telling VBA about the column index, and then I will be saying equal to. And now again you have to be careful, because this column, you are starting from C column. So your first value come here and it goes up to H, and the C column is actually the 3rd column in Excel. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So we will be going from 3rd column till 8th column. So I'll be saying 3, 2, 8, enter. An important thing to note here is that we have initiated 2 loops. So it's a good practice that you always finish those loops before writing the code within those loops. So otherwise you will get an error. So how you can finish those loops? So you will be saying next C, enter. So by writing next C, you have completed this loop. Although you haven't mentioned any command within this loop, within this loop, but this is an empty loop. Currently it's an empty loop. I will write down a code within it, but it's a good practice that whenever you write a loop, you write down this next command so that you know that where this loop is going to end. And in the same way, I will be writing next R, enter. So actually now this loop, the first loop, is ending when we are writing down the next R. So what's happening is, the first time when VBA will come to this loop, R will take a value of 4, and then it will come to this loop and it will execute and at this point the C will take the value of 3 and it will execute the whole loop, and it will go back, come here again. The R value will remain 4 and this value of C will come 4, and it will execute the whole code, and it will keeps on doing that until it reaches 8. And once it will reach 8, then it will go back to this first loop and the R value become 5, and the whole process will repeat again. So now I will write down my code. So now we are at the point where we will be assigning the values from these cell and this cell, from these cell and these cells to our scalar, which is P and B. So I will be saying P is equal to, and I will assign the value from this cell. And in order to do that, I will be using a function cells bracket, and then it's saying row index. So the row index, as you can see for the perpendicular, the row index will keeps on changing, but the column will remain fixed, because the column is for perpendicular, it's fixed, but the rows are changing. So in order to do that, I will be saying that a row will be coming from this R, and my column is actually B. B means the second column index. You can write down like this too, and you can also write down the column index number. So for me, I am writing down the column index number, and I will enter it. And after that, I will be assigning the value to this B scalar. So I will be saying B is equal to cells. And now you have to be again careful. Now when we are talking about the base, now you can see that our row is fixed, but our columns are changing. So with each iteration, our column will change for the base. So therefore, I will be saying my row is actually third row, and my column will be starting from the C, which is the third column, and I will be saying here C back close here. So now if I again go to my loop, the first time this loop will run, the R value will be 4. It will come here, it will assign this, it will say that the cells 4 to, it will go to this value, and then it will come to this line, it will assign the base from here, because the first time this inner loop will run, the C value will be 3. So the cells 3, 3 will be the third column, third row will be this, and it will assign those cell values to P and B. And once this loops will keeps on running, these values will be keeps on changing accordingly. And now what I will do, I will assign, I will compute my perpendicular value for the given value of base and perpendicular, which I am assigning here to B and P. And based on that, I will compute the value and as one by one start assigning in these cells. So in order to do that, I will be saying cells bracket row index, row index will be R, comma, and my column index will be C is equal to, as you can see that here R and C will be keeps on changing. I'm not writing 2 or 3 here because these cells will, with each iteration, this cell will change, definitely change, and it will keeps on going forward, and then once this row will complete, it will go down to the next row. So I will go back, and now what I will do my computation. So I will be writing down b square based on the formula you can see here, plus b square, and then in order to take the under root, I will be saying 0.5. So now everything is complete in this nested loop. So now if I execute this code, probably this whole table will get filled with the possible perpendicular values for a given set of base and perpendicular combination. So let's see if I execute this code. Let's see what happens. As you can see how nicely Excel have VBA have filled your whole table very easily. And before going further, what I will show you guys a bit in a slower pace that how VBA is actually computing these values one by one. So in order to see, or in order to debug your code, as you can see, there is a debug option available in VBA. So you can start with this step into. Once you press this step into, it will show that at which stage your code is executing. So if I press this step into, as you can see, VBA is telling that. So actually step into will break down your code. It will tell you one by one that VBA is executing this line, and after that which line the VBA will executing. But before going towards debugging, is as you can see that I have I can see some options here which probably you will not be seeing, which will allow me to debug a bit more easily instead of going into debug and doing a step into things like that. So if you guys don't have this options available to debug, I will suggest you to go to view, and once you will go to view, there is a toolbar option, and you will be having this standard option toolbar checked in. Also checked in this debug. Once you will be checked in this debug option, you will be having these debug toolbar here. So I will suggest you to check in this debug option too by going into view and then go to toolbox, and then also check in this debug option. So now I don't have to go into debug again and again. I can simply come to this toolbar and then I will just press again. So VBA is telling me that we started from here, and then VBA is at this line, and after that if I press it again, so now VBA is saying that after defining these scalars, we come to this line and then this line, and after that if I press this thing, then it's another line. If I keeps on pressing it, you can see once I will be in this loop, it will keeps on executing this part again and again until the value of the C reaches 8. Now I will show you one more thing. That suppose if I just want to finish this debug, and another important thing that if I go back to my Excel, you can see that once I will keeps on executing, this table will also keeps on Excel will also VBA will also keeps on filling this table. So suppose if I keeps on running this debug option one by one. So you can see that VBA keeps on filling this table by one cell by cell. So now another important thing, a very important thing that I will show you guys, that most of the time you will be need, especially when you will be writing the complex code, that you will want to see that how the values are changing within loops. So in order to see that, if you go to debug and you can write down you can click this option add watch, and within this add watch you can use the expression. You can use any expression, any scalar you have which you have constructed within this macro. So I will be saying tell me p. Okay, so once you will be saying the p, so VBA will be showing that what's the value of p, what's the p have taken the value. So here it's showing that it's have taken the value of 2. If I go back, because VBA is actually currently in this line, and for this line the p value will remain constant, which will be coming from this cell. And now if I will you can add multiple watches. So if you also want to add a watch for b scalar 2, you can go back to debug and you can say add watch, and now I will be adding watch for b. Okay, and now you can see that we also have a watch for b. So the b is actually 5, because we are just going to execute this part of the code where it will compute the perpendicular value and paste it here. So suppose if I run the code, run this part, I will be having a perpendicular value in this cell. So let's say f8. So the value of b remains 5, but now if I go back, now we have assigned the perpendicular value to this cell. So in this way, by using the debug option, you can see how step by step how your code is executing. And because when you will be using loops, you will not come to know how VBA have done, how processed the scalars or vectors you have provided. So in order to double check, debug option is very useful, because sometimes when you will execute your code, you probably will not get any error, but the loops or the code will not be acting the way you want. So you are not getting active error, but the thing that you are getting in the form of the results is also not right. So the debug option can show you that the code is computing according to your expectation or not. And the last thing is that suppose if you want to finish the debug, you can go back to debug, or you can say step out. You can also step out from here, from the toolbar. So I can set step out. So once I'm step out, now if I execute so you can see that after you step out, the VBA will execute all the code in quickly in just 1 second instead of going one by one. And then you can also finish this watch if you want. So in this video, I have shown you guys about nested loops in VBA. So, and before finishing or before closing this file, always makes it a habit that you save as this file as a Excel macro enabled workbook. So I'll be saying save. I want to replace it, yes. So always make it a habit that you save. If you have created a macro or a function in Excel, always save the file as macro enabled file. Otherwise you will lose the macro or the function you have created. Thank you for watching the video.